Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original Walk-Ons, Burbank at Nicholson. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, and Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Kenny White with us today. Matt Euman's with us today. Colucci with us today.
2-1 last week in hockey.
Yeah, okay. The regular season has started in the
Colucci
NHL.
Open going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, the golf.
Yes.
What's the club?
Shriners.
It's right next to
Summerlin. It's in
Summerlin,
Summerlin.
yeah.
TPC Las Vegas.
So he ought to be full of information.
Oh, he don't know. He can't name two golfers. That's not his deal.
I just
man.
meant in general. I didn't mean about the golf tournament.
Jerry Jones playing.
He's had a busy week.
Wait, what? We got to ask him. So, not does this guy do, that he loves being on the air. Jerry loves him some Jerry.
Till I ask him a hard question, and he kind of lost his cool a little bit.
Charlie, is it a hard question?
Well, he thought it was. I didn't think it was a particularly hard question.
What do you think the tone of that deal? You don't think that's with kid gloves? He's got it on his terms to begin with. You know that.
Sure.
I mean, how do you get beat 50-7 or whatever it was on the heels of give another game where well,
he's the one that took offense to it.
No, but there was nothing they couldn't ask him that he wasn't going to blow up.
Yeah, he was steamed.
But
they got to run out of their own building for the third straight time. I guess the Ravens game got close at the end.
He's the only owner that does. You don't think those interviews are on his terms?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure they're hard hitting. And sure, please.
I didn't say that it was a hard question in general. I said he thought it was
a hard day for him.
It's been a hard year for him, and
it's in a hard era.
and whose fault is it?
The guy that wants to hear himself on the radio because he'd rather do that. He wants to be GM because he ran off the best coach he has, and he keeps these mediocre coaches hanging around.
That's the funny thing is, for all of his meddling, it's in personnel, it's in contracts, it's in all of those things. He's only fired one coach in the last 15 years. I know it seems like more than that, but he kept Garrett for 10 years. And
that's
and McCarthy for 4 now. It's not like he fires coaches. He's not George Steinbrenner.
Charlie, no, he's gone from old George to George Jr. No, he's got way more. He's got way more pay. No, that's the whole thing. Once he fired or ran off Jimmy Johnson, he's been hoping and begging their replacements would be better. No, he kept all those guys longer than they should have. All of them.
No argument.
I mean, the Garrett thing was a joke. But the Yankees. I mean, maybe the Yankees were going to get it done after all, huh?
They are in pretty good shape.
I mean, the Guardians. Look, the Guardians. We've been paying attention to them a lot, old Roscoe, but I think about, why the Guardians had the successful season. They have overachieved. This was a win total about 500 baseball team. They lost Shane Bieber right out the chute. They had, sketchy starting pitching. But they did all the little things right. How many one-run games? How many walk-offs? They had the best bullpen in baseball. They had the best closer in baseball. Not even close. Clase is going to finish as runner-up for the Cy Young. But, man, all of it, you got a Gold Glove finalist dropping a pop-up. You got the right fielder dropping the ball. You got back-to-back the wild pitches in game one to give it. All the little things, they acted like a little league team. A bad little league team in the first couple of games. The stage got to them. And so they dug themselves to a hole. And look, everybody's got a rested bullpen. Everybody's got a bullpen. Your fifth starter's a reliever when it comes to it. Now, what the Dodgers are doing, how do you explain that? How do you explain the in Game 4 in San Diego, you go with the openers. I mean, whatever, the bullpen, whatever you want to call it. What do they call it, Charlie? Openers?
Color opener, yeah.
Openers, well, I mean, we're going to pitch a different guy every inning. I mean, how do they shut him out? How are they getting Walker Buehler out of nowhere, 4 shutout innings? Huh?
Yeah. And they shut out the Mets, who had kind of blazed through the playoffs.
But who you got in Texas, Georgia?
Am I still getting 3.5? I know the line's wiggled a little bit.
Yeah, it went from 3.5 to 5.5, now back to 3.5.
I'm going to take Georgia in the points, that this could be a field goal game. I acknowledge that Georgia hasn't looked the best since that whitewashing of Clemson in the opener, but I think they'll be up for this one. Kirby's been in plenty of these games. He wins as many as he loses, and I think this will be, from a talent standpoint, I think these teams are relatively close.
This is a different Kirby team. I think
is.
We've seen it big enough where they don't run the ball as well, and they're not as good defensively. Is that fair?
Yes.
And therefore, you're going to lean on your passer more, and the passing numbers are way more than what they're used to. But that's not what he wants to do, But I mean, you can't have elite defenses forever, and. We don't want to overreact, but that's a classic week 1. I mean, Clemson's offense and Georgia's defense, is that going to produce that result where they could barely get a first down again?
If they played again this weekend,
probably
that game wouldn't go that way. I question with Georgia, the Alabama game, we gave them a bunch of credit for coming back in that game. And now, 4 weeks later, it looks like Alabama's defense, not only are they not elite, they may not even be good.
They have individual players making some really good players at times, but this is where the lack of discipline has come in, or the fall off, and then they're just play to play. You don't know what you're getting, much less game to game, much less serious. I mean, think about the game. They're opening up, they're dominating 14-0, then they can't do anything. And so even as explosive as they are on offense, they're so inconsistent. Very inconsistent. So that's the whole team, the lack of discipline. But Alabama's just like everybody else right now. They're not going to be this unbeatable. They're going to have these games more. Now, are they having more than we thought? But don't make an exciting, super, super exciting, entertaining game like Georgia, Alabama. It's not necessarily high level. And when I say high level, I think offensively, but their defenses, those two defenses, were not typical Georgia Alabama defenses. Is that fair?
That is fair, but we even saw Saban play a few of these games. I think they played a 55-44 game with Auburn one year. So it's not like we never saw a Saban team get into a shootout and win it. Did you think right after the game, not 4 weeks later, but right after the game, that game it was a Alabama-Georgia game that was played at a high level and was full of future pros, right? The next day after you'd watched that game. Because I did. Well, I thought, wow, there's pros all over the field. Look at these spectacular plays like Williams is making. And I was like, this is just two heavyweights going at it.
What you have is not with your depth, but you don't have across the board, like A-level players everywhere. You had a few really super elite level future pro guys making plays, but you have a lot of so it's like LSU's roster right now. Okay, do they have overall the personnel defensively that they've had in the past? No, but they look like they got about 4. They may have 4 stars, huh? They may have 4 guys that could probably play on, but they don't have 11. They don't have 14. And that's kind of college football. And maybe I've been a little bit too critical of LSU's roster build. It still needs to get better. But, even the Les Miles, I mean, maybe it's just there's some holes, I mean, the defending national champion is dead last in passing. We know they're bad at passing, but last? Dead last? Michigan's recruiting better players on offense than 131 teams.
All I know is Navy throws the ball a hell of a lot better than they do.
They do. That's where we are. So it's year to year, it's week to week, it's play to play. But what I do know is we don't know. What I do know is I really don't know. And I'm curious. Texas can't look better about what they've played, but they've played nothing. I mean nothing. I'm sorry. There's not one team that they have played right now is going to finish in the top 25.
I'd love to disagree with you. What they've played is big brands, Michigan and Oklahoma. And those teams are not good.
Yeah, that's great. Michigan last year and Oklahoma 10 years ago.
Well, Michigan and Oklahoma, Michigan on the road and Oklahoma. Neither one of those games were in Austin, and they're just big brands this year. They're not good teams.
So let me ask you, we got our own little invitational. It's a Live at Lunch invitational. It's a 4-team playoff. Army, Navy, Oklahoma, Michigan.
Oh wow.
And I know Army went to Norman and got them into overtime one year, but I mean, really?
If those 4 teams were playing a round robin right now, I swear to you, I'd take Navy.
Yeah,
I would take Navy. I think Navy's a little bit better than Army, but it's close. I like Navy. I love Horvath.
Navy's the 1 seed. Army's the 2 seed.
Oklahoma's the 3 seed.
Who is better between Oklahoma and Michigan? Do you know?
The quarterback at Oklahoma is an inch better than the one at Michigan. An inch.
If you say so.
I mean,
if you say so. They're both runners.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
If you say so.
I wouldn't die on that hill, but if you ask me, I'd say he's an eyelash better.
I remind Auburn, not good, right?
Yeah, no.
27-11 first downs. That's a box score with LSU and South Alabama.
Yeah.
27-11 first downs.
They didn't out first down Nichols by 16.
I mean,
they didn't.
What did they out first down South Alabama?
Without looking, I would say by 10.
I mean, 27-11. I know the statistics are for Lou, but I mean, geez, that's crazy.
I would not. Like I said, I wouldn't die on that hill. And
who's the worst team in the league?
Mississippi State.
They're going 0-8, right? Probably,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All of a sudden, they're being more competitive.
29-16, LSU over Nickel,
I mean,
over South Alabama. I think that's a little bit. Yeah, that's better than what their discrepancy was against Nichols. Nichols, it was 24-16. So no, I understand.
Listen, garbage time.
They didn't. But in the third quarter, it's 23-21. So it wasn't all garbage time.
LSU Nichols?
Yeah, it was 23-21 in the third quarter.
Forgive me, I don't watch it when they play Reno wins.
We're going to watch the Saints and the Broncos
I got
tonight.
better stuff to watch.
We're here at Walk-Ons, the original Walk-Ons, the very first in the empire that is Walk-Ons. Right here at Burbank at Nicholson.
You know what? And it's still a little ways away. We got three away, but we got Bama coming to town.
I was here for the staff meeting this morning.
Oh, you were?
I was.
And did you participate? Did you?
No. I just listened.
Did you lead the cheer?
I didn't.
Huh? Why not?
I participated in the cheer.
Did you dress up in the outfit? Remember, Gordy was going to try and get you to dress up.
I got my Saints shirt on. I dressed in Saints gear today. I'm trying to be a professional football franchise, I guess. But no, they were already talking about Alabama week. Is my point of listening in on the staff meeting? They're already making preps.
Beat Bama Glow Party and Car Show. The Beat Bama Glow Party. Get ready to light up the night with neon colors and dance the night away. Saturday, November 2nd, for 5 p.m. Walk-ons at Burbank. Wear your brightest glow attire and prepare for a night full of music, fun, and good vibes. All ages event. Let's come together to show our team spirit and party under the neon lights. Check this out. A lineup of bands. DJ Dylan Wayne, the Lauren Lee Band, the Chase Tyler Band, the Kings of Neon. Car show hosted by Southern Muscle American Car and Truck Club. Event is rain or shine. Artists are subject to change. So there we go. That is coming up. We got all kinds of festivities. Monster. Dustin was working banker's hours last week for Ole Miss Day. 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. Saturday to Sunday.
That ain't banker's hours.
I got to give him crap. So, but man, the staff was the staff was worked, and we pulled it off. But it was just.
You see the Shaq video when Shaq came
here?
in here?
Yeah. How great is that?
Yeah, it was great.
How great is that, huh? Just
awesome.
getting in the mix and showing. That was. I mean, people were excited. I mean, that just hey,
it was fun. Let's keep it going.
The light shows. I mean, of all ages, of all people that like everything from country to rap, whatever, they love the lights. Yeah. And I don't know if they handed out things they could throw around, throw over the stadium again.
It's kind of like Disco Demolition Night
Yeah.
at the other Tiger Stadium. That was a bad idea.
Yeah, that was in
White
South
Sox.
Side.
I'm sorry, that was at Comiskey.
Yeah.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.
Get in.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Unique game in the Superdome tonight between the Broncos and the Saints. Never before have the Saints had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Tonight, the one that they will have when he's eligible is going to go in the Saints Hall of Fame tonight, and there's going to be a big ceremony at the half. The stadium, they're giving them all of the black towels for the blackout. And, of course, on the other sideline is the most successful coach in Saints history, Sean Payton, now coaching for the Denver Broncos. We can get into the game if you want. The Saints, the Saints have exactly 4 offensive starters that started the opener that are expected to start tonight unless Taysom Hill has a miraculous recovery between now and 7 o'clock. So the game is going to be rough for Spencer Rattler. He just doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Both his receivers are going to be out. And we could talk about that, but I think the circumstances around the game are so much more interesting, Jimmy, and the reaction that Sean Payton may get tonight. Hunt did a thing on LouisianaSports.net about
introducing. They don't usually introduce a visiting coach, huh?
They introduce the starters
the
on
starting,
one side,
yeah.
and sometimes they say and head coach. I don't know if they do that
should,
or not.
even if they don't, they should. And I would think
he's going to run out at some point. They're
I would think Will Romick would.
Yeah, they're going to see him.
He's running out with his team.
He's going to run out with his team. There'll be at some point, I'm sure, his picture up on the screen or whatever. I would think that the reaction would be mostly positive to him, not to the Broncos. They'll boo the Broncos.
I think if they announce starters, head coach tonight for the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, boom. And I think even if they don't, I'm just not sure. I don't know. Maybe some Saints season ticket holders know, whatever. Do we even pay attention if they're announcing? But like you said, whoever gets the ball first, they announce the Saints offense, the opposing team defense, but. They do it with the Saints. They say, do they introduce Allen?
It's been so damn long since I've been to a game in the stands. I really don't remember. I'm not sure.
But
I think they do.
Even when they retired, Breeze is not. I mean, what's his name didn't even show any of that. So I don't know how much in the coverage on TV we're going to get of it.
They said that there's going to be at least some, and I don't know what that means. I mean, they only got 12 minutes from gun to gun, so I mean they got to hurry whatever they're going to do.
What are you talking about?
From the end of the first half to the beginning of the second half is 12 minutes on the nose. So this is not going to be a long, drawn-out ceremony. You're going to get some.
For Breeze?
For Breeze, at halftime, he's going to the Saints Hall of Fame. There's going to be some coverage of that on TV. You're going to be able to see some of that.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know how much of that. For myself, I don't have anything against Sean Payton. I really don't. 15 years, 16 seasons, 15 years that he actually coached, minus the one suspension year. He was the best they ever had, by a lot. He was put in an impossible situation when he took that job. You had an owner with one foot out the door. You had a city that was in, absolute devastation following Katrina. You had a quarterback who was going in there with a shoulder that they were hoping would hold together, and he was coming off of a team that had finished 3-13 the year before, and he took them to the NFC Championship game, and from there you went. So I don't think that NFL coaching jobs are like Supreme Court, appointments. They're not for life. He went way longer than most. Madden said it back in the 70s. 10 years is about your shelf life, and that there's certainly exceptions to that, but it's been true way more than it hasn't. So I got no problem with him doing the reboot. I don't blame him for the shape the franchise was in when he left. It wasn't in it wasn't the worst roster in the league. They were going to have to replace a quarterback whether he was here or not. That was going to be hard.
But he is probably the one of the biggest reasons why they're a little bit in salary cap. Trying to keep going for it. Putting the salary cap jail. I mean, he's influencing all the those type of moves. I mean,
while he was here, but
you're right. That's what I'm saying. That's what you said when he left. When he left. I mean, who's individual? Who's more responsible for that than Peyton? Peyton
had the final say on everything.
Yes.
I'm not going to argue that.
And he should have.
Yeah.
But
the last year he was in New Orleans, I believe they finished. They finished 9-8,
and that's
they had
unbelievable with those quarterbacks he had.
Yeah, and before that they had won the division 4 straight years. So the roster was in decent shape. Breeze left. Okay, they're not the first team that's had a hard time replacing a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, Favre to Rodgers and Montana to Young are the exceptions. Everybody else, it's hard to recreate that. So I didn't have a problem with him signing off when he did. I don't have a problem with him coaching somewhere else in the league. I really don't. It doesn't mean I'm going to root for the Broncos. Yeah. I think some people do. Like I said, it's not a lifetime appointment. I didn't begrudge Saban when he left here to go to Miami. I really didn't.
It's different in college, Charlie.
No, because you can stay way past 10 years in college.
Yes.
Way past that. And if Saban had left Miami and gone to Penn State, I wouldn't have cared about that either. I don't like Alabama. That was my deal, and he just happened to end up there. If Peyton were coaching the Falcons, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Well,
going to go coach the Broncos? Go ahead.
The same way he came here. You think LSU's an easier place to win than Michigan State?
It is now. When Saban took the job in '95,
he knew it was untapped.
Yeah, he did.
Come on.
He did. Yeah.
He knew it was untapped. So when was there an opening at LSU when he left Miami?
No.
So he took the best job, right?
Right.
You think Saban likes to?
That's what I said. I was never mad at Saban. He never did anything wrong. I didn't like Alabama. He just happened to be the coach there, and he was really good. That's
you only hate who you respect.
Yeah. I don't like Alabama. I respect the program and the success that they've had. My hatred for them comes mostly by the bias that the league shows to them. I've explained that a million times.
No. Well, now they got a new team to get the bias to. That's Texas. So, but you said at least they ain't gonna come in here and run this. Well,
they got a good schedule. They got a good schedule the first year.
Same next year.
For the first 2 years, it is, and if it's permanent, I'll start hating on them a little bit more.
It's not, but hey, look, you get a new job. They give you a signing bonus. They give you a box of flowers. I don't know. Take you out to dinner. Can we welcome them anymore? Poor Oklahoma's been kicking their ass for 50, 60 years. Sorry, but we love your word, your branding. We value your branding. Well, what you did was you motivated a program that had underperformed for how many years? And now you created competition for yourself for the big prize.
Money. Saints opened the 3.5.
I'm sorry, SEC program, they were starving. Would have folded shop if Texas wouldn't have joined the SEC.
Does the NFL
would have folded shop?
Does the NFL need to play in Brazil?
Charlie, don't start. But you are creating more. Texas is the number one job in the country right now because they're motivated. Now they got the SEC branding to sell their recruits in state. Mm-hmm. No, that was if you're trying to win national championships, that was a bad move for teams like LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee.
What if Texas
Florida
wins a national championship?
No, Texas has way more of a shot with their SEC affiliation.
Well, they're in your league now. That should.
Screw them, dude. You didn't need them. You don't get it. No, don't keep them. No, they're not going to win. They're not going to be as motivated. They've always had money. Always. But they had money, and what did they do? They couldn't get right coaches, couldn't put enough facilities, couldn't do whatever to get the best players. No, you are beating them forever.
No, I'm in Texas.
No,
you can't beat them, join them.
Why throw them up? Why help them out? Why create? You're in business. You want to create competition for yourself? No.
If I buy my competitor, then they're no longer my competitor. They're now my asset.
No. They are your competitor. No, they are your competitor. It is Florida, Georgia, Alabama, LSU combined for how many of the national championships? Almost half.
From 2000 to now, yeah, probably more than half if you count them all.
Texas is going to be in that road. Texas just leapfrogged all of them as far as the more higher resource program. All of them.
Yeah, that's what the league decided to do.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake. But you didn't need money. You have money, a ton of money. You have more money than everybody.
They believe that more is better, especially when the playoff expands.
Okay,
again.
well, you get a little bit more, but you created a lot better competitive advantage for the University of Texas. You got them off their ass and motivated them to spend where now spending is a big deal because they've always had it. They never always spent it.
If McDonald's bought Burger King and they were selling Whoppers, they would have.
No. If McDonald's helped Burger King win championships. Okay, you just get a little piece of that pie. So you get 1/16. I mean, you're trying to win on the field, Charlie. This hurts you. This creates more competition on the field in the most important sport, football. You help Texas. Leave Texas be. That's what I'm saying.
And a lot of people agree with
you. If you don't think that Texas is in a better spot because they got an SEC affiliate, Texas A&M is way better. They had 12 years as being and now Texas last 3 years producing more NFL players than everybody else, but they can't get out their way because of their history. Texas is going to figure it out a little bit better.
I do believe Texas is in a much better situation now.
Well, if they win more championships, that's less for you.
No, they are you now.
No. Oh, are you an SEC guy all of a sudden?
Well, no.
SEC.
Well, you're asking
the SEC.
So you're SEC.
Yes,
the SEC.
I thought
I'm just going to go buy them.
I thought it was LSU.
Oh, for LSU,
I thought it was
it's
LSU.
not good. No, it's not good for LSU. It's good. The SEC thinks
they're a
it's
neighboring
good.
state too.
I
don't know. By the way, I compete against.
I thought I had my
recruits.
SEC hat on. No, if LSU.
No. LSU again. LSU. Alabama, we're over. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to repeat myself. LSU, Alabama. Is it better for Alabama?
No.
Is it better for Georgia?
No.
Is it better for
We agree on that.
Vanderbilt? Well, they get a little bit more money. And how much more money are we getting that we couldn't have gotten without them? Really? The SEC was so far ahead of everybody else, but we needed Texas? Kiss my ass. Shit. Let's go to break.
You had a live spot to do.
I'm done. We're going to break. I want to give Colucci his time. He was 2-1. Let's get to some winners.
One of them. The halfway point at the head.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's get right to business, Colucci time. First of all,
he's in a mood, Dwayne.
Oh, no. Don't start with me. Charlie tells me that Alabama runs the league, but Alabama wanted Texas in the league to create
voted
competition.
for it.
Yeah, okay. There you go. How about the Colucci Open? Is the wind that severe out at the TPC where you are with the beautiful Summerlin for the PGA event?
It's very nice. I'll be honest with you. It cooled down drastically in the last couple of days, so the weather is pretty nice. The Shriners is always a popular event right here. The property is right on top of the TPC golf course. So, definitely a very popular event and very nice weather, I have to say. It's amazing. It has cooled down here in Las Vegas. Last week we were complaining about the heat, but now it's cooled down. So it'll be very comfortable for all the competitors in the Shriners Children's Open.
The course clear, Coyotes? We good there?
Yeah, they got a lot of big crowds, so the Coyotes tend to stay away. But, early in the morning, you never could tell. They might start tugging on your beautiful knickers there.
Coyotes are bullies, huh? They don't like attacking people in groups, huh? All right, okay.
No, I think the people attack them, especially loaded with the golf clubs and loaded up on liquor.
Two and one last week on the ice. Give us your top 2 or 3 picks for tonight.
Yeah, definitely a full slate tonight, guys. I'm really enjoying, these hockey Thursday nights, and it's definitely, an interesting start to the season, especially for this heavy-hitting matchup that we have at 5:07, Las Vegas time. You got the Oilers in Nashville. So now the Oilers are 1-3, Nashville 0-3. The acquisitions of Stamkos and Marchessault so far have not panned out for Nashville. Now, granted, I believe Marchessault's mom passed away, and we want to send our condolences out there last week. Edmonton, same old story, giving up huge amount of goals, and I keep trying to preach this to everybody. Do not just put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I looked at professional handicappers or so-called professional handicappers. They had about 15 of them, Jimmy, and I think like 12 of them picked Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup. And it's like based on what? This is a different sport. I say that. McDavid is a beast. Don't get me wrong. Best player in the game by far. But this is not the NBA where if you have Michael Jordan or LeBron James, and even LeBron James can't carry a full team always to the finals, the NHL is completely different. If your goalie is cold, you're not going to win even if you score 4 or 5 goals a night. So let's keep this in mind. I'm going to take Nashville at a plus tonight. It's not a big plus. We have Edmonton minus 125 at the Rampart and South Point. So you're looking at a 105
plus 110.
And yeah, you could get plus 110 if you shop around. So, yeah, definitely, I'm looking at that. I definitely believe that Nashville will bounce back. They have to start getting some wins. Saros will get hot between the pipes. I definitely think that's a good pick tonight. Also, I'm looking
we got plus 110 yet at our local shop at the Queen. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Beautiful. No, beautiful. I'm going to take a shot tonight with Detroit bouncing it back against the Rangers. We're going to see Jonathan Quick between the pipes for the Rangers for the first time. Rangers have done nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. We're not sliding this team. This is a team that definitely is saying Stanley Cup or, bust, which I really, really respect. But we're going to keep an eye on how Igor Shesterkin and that contract situation plays out. I mean, the guy turned down $11 million per, which is like, exceeds Carey Price money, which is amazing to just turn that down. Maybe he didn't want the 8 years. Maybe he doesn't like the city. But I think Detroit can catch the Rangers in this spot tonight, especially at home. This is another game where we're getting a plus at home.
Plus 130.
So, I definitely love these home teams that are getting pluses, guys. It pans out and it will play out. Now, let's get to my Montreal Canadiens. Samuel Montembeault been playing lights out. Cole Caulfield has his shot. Wayne Hudson, beautiful young rookie. Kings are on a 7-game road trip. The Kings so far 1-1-2. Very tough to start the season. 7 games on the road. Got shellacked by Toronto. I think the Canadians could handle them as well in this situation. You're going to Phoenix Copley, the third-string goaltender for the Kings tonight as well. So Montreal, you could get a plus on as well at home. So there's 3 games for everybody tonight. We're taking home underdogs tonight. Which
home
is always,
dogs, baby.
I believe it's a good angle, brother. I always do, Jimmy. You know how I'm feeling.
Yes.
And, the Vegas Golden Knights, if you need a pick in that game tonight, Vegas is very capable. They look good. They're 3-1. Lost a tough one. Logan Thompson was up for the game in Washington the other night. Knights are on that East Coast road trip as well. If you're looking for a pick, this is always the alternate pick for our Vegas, clients out there. Knights do have a shot. You could possibly take a little plus there against Tampa, but Tampa has looked very good so far, despite losing Steven Stamkos. So, tough game there. I would take, though, Vegas on a flyer if you have
Nashville, Detroit, Montreal, and you adding Vegas too?
Yeah, sure, definitely to parlays, but not as good as the top 3. We're going to regret.
Okay. We're trying to go quality over quantity here. So we're trying to stick with our little 3, So anyway, so Charlie said I was in a mood earlier. Well, I mean because I don't cooperate and just repeat what Charlie says. Very similar with Jerry Jones, huh? He's upset with his broadcast partner on his post-game show, huh? Which one? Jerry, huh?
Well, let me tell you something. Jerry needs to back off, and we keep discussing this, but he's not going anywhere.
You tell him.
He's not going anywhere. Charlie, I mean, this guy is unbelievable. He's sitting there during his birthday. They gave up another 40-burger at home. They look disorientated. Nobody wants to even play, it looks like. There's no motivation on that sideline, and that definitely is a reflection on the coaching staff. Our defensive coordinator is now tearing it up in Washington. I don't know what Dallas is going to do. I mean, we keep calling it the NFC least, and it definitely is that. Sirianni on the hot seat. People want him out of there. McCarthy, hot seat. Jerry Jones, hot seat. Giants, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. So, it's Washington's division for the taking, and Dallas is just a massive, massive disarray. Granted, we had 6 starters missing. We have a few more excuses than the other teams, but it's getting tired, Jimmy. How many excuses could you get? Dak Prescott, he's got to perform. He's got to elevate his level. CD has got to keep his mouth shut. These wide receivers, I think they get concussed in college, guys, and they just carry it on into the NFL, and their mouths, they just keep going, and there's no substantiation behind it. They're not the best players on their team, whether it's Stephon Diggs, whether it's CD. All you see are these guys barking out orders, and they're not winning. They're not performing, and they just, get me the ball, get me the ball. Well, if you're double and triple covered, how am I going to get you the ball? Especially with Brandon Cooks on the sideline. So
it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Look, we're just not just gonna. We don't just throw darts here. We offer solutions. Okay, and understand your team season's probably over. So I've got a suggestion. You sit back. Workshop. I'll take all the bets. Go home. Get you a cup of popcorn. Maybe throw a little bit to the Coyotes out in the backyard. Watch the golf and sit down and watch your Super Bowl Saints Black and Gold Super Bowl. That's where you can divert.
Guys, what are you crazy? The Dodgers are still playing. I'm a Dodger fan. I'm gonna be watching the Dodgers hammer out those Mets, guys. I mean, come on. I can't watch this game. This is one of the lowest handled games that I've seen thus far in the NFL season, guys. Nobody knows who to pick, or nobody knows if they even want to watch this game.
We talked about the game. We're talking about we're talking about all the stuff that. We're talking about the coach, if he's going to be announced before, the former coach. We're talking about.
You mean Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler aren't moving the needle? I'm shocked.
Oh,
hey, let
man.
me tell you, I can't believe Denver's 3-3, Charlie. I mean, it's got to be a credit to Peyton and that coach.
It's a pretty good defense.
Really?
Especially when Surtain plays.
No,
it's a good defense.
That defense when Surtain's playing is ridiculous. He's basically holding the opponent's number one to about 20 yards a game. That's not an exaggeration.
And Nix has had his moments. He had a good game down in Tampa. He's getting a little bit better. He's not a complete stiff out there.
How much was in garbage time when they were down 23-0 this past week?
Not that game. The Tampa game, he looked good.
Okay, that's 1 out of 6.
Well, yeah, he's still a rookie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is Peyton's handpicked guy. Mm-hmm. It's his handpicked guy.
He's not as good as the other rookies, no.
No. So, Black and Gold Super Bowl. You're watching it tonight. So anyway.
Maybe his car was coming back 2 weeks, earlier than he's predicting. I mean, you guys look good, really good early on, but injuries in the NFL are the telling tale. Just like Dallas, with Parsons, Lawrence, Cook, so many injuries. Your team is not going to perform at that level, but at least your team, seems to be motivated and have a chip on their shoulder, whereas Dallas just looks blah.
They weren't motivated when they gave up 300 yards passing and 275 rushing for the fifth time in the NFL's history to Tampa Bay. I mean, of course, Baker Mayfield. I mean, he looks like Johnny Unitas out there. No, he has been. He had a good year last year, and he's following it up. And even though they tried to give all the credit to the Carolina coach Canales. But anyway, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. The Cowboys, the Dodgers, is your basketball team the Globetrotters? I mean,
the Knicks, the Knicks, I'm a Knicks.
Okay.
That does balance the scale a little bit.
That's the one New York team I root for. So.
Charlie,
that's the one you picked. You didn't want the Jets? I mean, my God. You want misery. I mean, come on, the Knicks are I tell you what, the Knicks
won since the year I was born, Charlie.
Knicks could be very good this year, though. They could be really good this year.
I saw a graphic, guys. 65% to make the playoffs. It's about 98% that Eastern Conference. I'll tell you that right now.
So the Knicks, with kind of Thibodeau, hard on the players sometimes, but they responded to him. They kind of gutsy, gritty, can take coaching. I think of Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting mix. That's going to be a real interesting mix.
I was not pleased with that trade. I was not pleased. I think he's very soft. I mean, I know we need a guy in the middle, but was Towns the answer, giving up Randall and DiVincenzo? And DiVincenzo was already lighting them up. So, I don't know. Sometimes the front offices of the teams that I root for are just ridiculous outside of the Dodgers. At least they try and get every, option or available player, or are involved in trying to get every available marquee player in the free agency market. But Dallas is in disarray. Knicks don't know what they're doing, and, it becomes very difficult. Montreal, you throw them in the realm as well, but they're in a good rebuild phase now. They got a lot of really good young talent. Watch this Lane Hudson, guys. Barring any injury, this kid's going to be the defenseman of the future for the Montreal Canadiens. He's just unbelievable, and he, up until the last game, I believe he led the NHL in possession of the puck in the offensive zone, and that's a rookie at the NHL level. So keep your eye on this kid.
Hey, real quick, we have about 20 seconds, Colucci. This line's going back and forth on Georgia and Texas. What you guys writing at the Rampart?
Yeah, this is a very, very good game. We're having tons and tons of action. I mean, I don't really know what to make of it. I think Texas has looked lights out. We're getting great two-way action, though, thus far. 4.5 currently at the Rampart and South Point. Texas is, getting the parlay into the early action. That was the initial sharp move, but now it's settled down, and we're starting to get some buyback on Georgia once we got over that cusp, into the 4 realm. But we did open it at 3.5. It was not a solid 3. So it's just mainly parlays and teases on Texas right now, but Georgia's getting some straight bet buyback.
Follow Dwayne on Twitter at NYBookie Dwayne. We're not far away from the Breeders' Cup as well. Good luck this weekend.
Yes.
Let's get him on the ice again for another winning night. Thank you, Kaluch.
Yeah, let's do it, guys. Love you guys. Say hi to everybody.
All right, you the best. Don't forget our friends over at Relief Windows and their wood windows. And you know why wood windows? A look that lasts. Wood windows offer timeless style and generally regarded as the most aesthetically pleasing of all wood window materials. It looks good. Yes, indeed. In South Louisiana, sometimes they don't last. That's why we bring you the RLS wood windows by Geldwin. Unlike your average wood window, it's treated on just the surface, treated straight to the core, offering unparalleled protection against rot, water saturation, and termites. These wood windows are built to last, not like your typical wood windows. The wood frame provides great natural insulation. Pair that with the quality of durable Geldwin RLS wood, and you won't need to worry about replacing your windows again for a very, very long time. In a lifetime limited warranty, we guarantee your complete satisfaction for years to come and provide the highest quality service and craftsmanship around. Go to Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com, 230-5652, Relief Windows.
Live at the original walk-ons, live at lunch at content of Con.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch. Jamal Adams released by the Tennessee Titans. Didn't work out there for him. Signed with the Titans a one-year deal after he was released by the Seahawks. He only played about 20 snaps in 3 games for the Titans, so he's looking for a new team right now. Just 29 years old, but the injuries have just crushed him after playing at a Pro Bowl level with the Jets in the first year with Seattle. The last 4 years have just been very, very tough for him. He has only played in 25 games in the last 4 seasons, so we'll see if he can get his career back on track, but it won't be with Tennessee. Adams released today, per his request, by the club.
I made contact with Mayo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
The Breeze he was a little overwhelmed with the Breeze cheer he's doing tonight.
That was a funny video.
You got to pull up his deal.
Oh, it's funny.
So he said He's actually sitting on the edge of his bed right now rehearsing. He's studying.
To do the cheer.
He said he's never studied harder for anything in his life.
1, 2, 2 for you, 3. He gave up by 3. At 3, he was done. Breeze is going to do the cheer tonight in the Dome. He wants the fans to go
say
along.
that they do announce Allen at the end of the lunch. Yeah,
okay, yeah. We'll see if they announce Peyton tonight. Hour number 2, straight ahead from Walk-Ons.
All right, just what you.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Okay, over here at the original Walk-Ons, don't forget, just around the corner, it's our big bash for the LSU and Bama. Got 4 bands lined up over here for LSU and Bama. We got the truck show that's going on as well. Again, here's a live music, 5 o'clock, DJ Dylan Wayne, followed by the Lauren Lee Band, then the Chase Tyler Band, the Kings of Neon as well. Event, rain or shine, it's going on Saturday for Bama LSU. All we can do is hope, aspire to be like Snapdragon Stadium, for San Diego State, Hawaii. Huh, Matty? I mean, that's all we can do, brother. We're going to get there one day. But you know what?
Pretty good atmosphere.
Hey, look, all we want to do is, just storm the field for Ole Miss, baby. So, you watch the LSU Ole Miss game, Matt?
I did. We talked about
What'd you think?
On your show
What'd you think?
last week. I was on LSU plus 3.5. I felt like I was pretty lucky to get the win, and that was a great atmosphere. I mean, night games in Baton Rouge doesn't get much better, and LSU's got a great record in those games. I was not real optimistic at one point in the fourth quarter. Things were not going LSU's way, and they found a way there at the end to get it done. Of all the wins I had last Saturday in college football, I think I was the luckiest one. What did you guys feel? Did you feel like
I had Ole Miss in the game, okay, and by the time it was over, I had more money on LSU. It's at one point, Matt, I had. And part of it was, some middles. And, when you middle, part of it is you're insuring the original bet. But at one point, I got plus 630 money line on LSU in the second half. So what do you think Ole Miss had to do with the juice on minus 10 to 1, minus 1,000, if it's plus 630?
I'm surprised it was that high.
Yeah.
When I was on the show last week, when I was on the show, I said I was on LSU, and you were both, talking it down. No, it's Ole Miss. Ole Miss play here.
I took LSU with you. I took LSU.
Charlie, it was.
I took LSU.
It was Charlie's one of Charlie's picks. I took Ole Miss, and I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, LSU led wire to wire. I'm sorry for 0 seconds until the
let me ask you this question about live betting. Okay, as a novice live bettor, at the end of the first quarter, it's 0-0, but Ole Miss has dominated the first quarter. They have blown 3 scoring chances. So at the end of the first quarter, how do you feel about a live bet?
That's why, okay, here it is. It's going to be competitive. Here's the runts, being the runts. It's getting in their head. The crowd gets going. Harris gets out. I mean, everything, but they missed their chance to build a lead.
Yeah.
And, I mean.
So when a team is dominant on the field but not on the scoreboard, what do you do?
Oh, I mean, you miss their chances.
Yeah, so you go the other way.
Depending on the situation. A lot of times in college, what's happening early continues. That'd be more of an NFL angle. They miss all their chances. Wait, these are pros. They'll come back. But in that area, you keeping that crowd that's begging to be a part of the game, you let them be a part of the game.
Okay, so at the end of the first quarter, if the line was about the same, about 3.5 or 4?
I took plus 9.5, plus 7.5, plus 3.5.
But at the end of the first quarter, it was it about what it was at the beginning? Because it was 0-0.
No, 0. Yes, it's basically the same.
Okay, so
yes.
Who would you have taken at the end of the first quarter after Ole Miss had blown 3 scoring chances?
Well, the way Ole Miss was letting LSU hang around the game, I was somewhat optimistic. At that one point in the fourth quarter, it still didn't look very good. Anyway, let's move on.
I got you.
Not
I got
you. Radio. Let's read Jimmy Ott's live bets from last Saturday.
Oh, don't start your crap, okay? I mean, look, hey, I'm about to throw you your flowers, okay? I mean, you're 9-1 coming in. We got bloodied up over here, all right, especially in the NFL. But you maintained. We'll give you Hawaii a push because there was 21 available on game day, including I took it myself. But 4-1-1, Matt, I mean, let's go, man. Let's keep it going. And let's start off with a big one in Texas. So the F1 is a dual race on Friday night. All the extravaganza for Georgia, Texas, and the F1 series. So it'll be the pros against the Joes in a drag race. So the Georgia's bringing their fast cars and trying to take on the pros on Friday night. But anyway, this line has moved all over the place. 3.5 up to 5.5, now back up to 3.5 in between. Georgia, first time in 50 games. They're the underdog. They're always looking for the respect card, you know that. And Georgia, but not good as running the ball. And defensively, Texas, we don't know how good they are because they hadn't played anybody to this point. Who you got?
By the way, it was generous of you to give me the push on Hawaii last week, considering that line closed 21.5. But no, I did that 21, and that should have been a winner.
You did.
That should have been a winner, by the way, because Hawaii, first goal at the 5, didn't score, missed a chip shot field goal. Boise converted a 2-point play at the end to get it to 21. That was kind of a joke. Hawaii was the right side in that game. I've got Georgia +5 here. I played it. The Texas defense allowed 13 points or fewer in all 6 games. But really, who of the Longhorns played up to this point? Believe it or not, the highest-rated offense that Texas has faced is Michigan. So last week, Quinn Ewers was pretty rusty after a month off with the oblique injury. He was lucky that Texas was playing Oklahoma, and that Oklahoma offense could not move the ball last week. Has a lot to do with top 3 wide receivers being out and the freshman quarterback, Michael Hawkins, in there for the Sooners. So Carson Beck, I'm not the biggest fan, but he is the best quarterback Texas is going to face, and I think by far. 459 yards passing last week. Like you mentioned, Georgia's a dog for the first time since 2021, 49 consecutive games as a favorite. I know Georgia's underachieved 1-5 ATS, 5-1 straight up. And I don't think this Georgia team's got the same type of elite talent on offense or defense that program's had the last 5 or 6 years. But do we really know how good Texas is after facing that weak schedule up to this point? I don't think so. And I'll tell you this, too. Georgia's been in some dogfights on the road, Kentucky, Alabama, games like that. Texas has not been in a dogfight yet. Georgia knows how to play these games. I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw in the Georgia-Alabama game, Ohio State-Oregon last week. This is going to be the biggest game of the week. I think it's going to be a classic. It's going to get us to the wire. I want the points here. I know some numbers handicappers out there think Texas should power 8 as a 4.5-point favorite. I don't agree with that. I'm not convinced that we know how good Texas is right now.
Another layer is what team can afford. Keep in mind, Texas was in a playoff last year. Georgia not. Who can least afford a loss? I mean, it's Georgia. Yeah. So, I mean, a little bit more desperation, a little bit more maybe urgency there. Last time that Georgia was underdog at Tuscaloosa, COVID year, that was the miraculous recovery. Saban tested positive on a Monday, and he was cleared on a Friday. So, let's go to another undefeated team with the assistance of the ACC replay procedure. That's Miami. But after that, the crazy game on Friday night against Virginia Tech where they waved off the Hail Mary, and then 25 points down in Berkeley. They come back and win. They did have a week off to try and settle in. Are they energized? Are they more focused? But now they go to Louisville, and after 2 rental wins for Louisville, they're I don't know. They're 1-3 against the spread, and the one was against Georgia Tech where they have 2 return touchdowns. But you still think Miami, this is going to be a tough one, and this could be or may be the toughest game left on the regular schedule. You got Louisville plus the points at home.
Yeah, I'd prefer this be a night game in Louisville. It's obviously an early kickoff. I don't like that. You remember last year when Notre Dame went in there, and that was the biggest game of the season for Louisville, and the Cardinals ambushed them. And I think the same thing could happen here. Now, Cam Ward's tough to bet against right now. He's got 300-plus yards passing in all 6 games, 400-plus twice, and the Hurricanes put up a lot of points fast. I'm not really sure this Louisville offense can do that. I've been pretty disappointed, like you said, and how the Cardinals have played. They've left a lot to be desired. Jeff Brom's offense hasn't kicked it into gear at all. Tyler Shuck's playing pretty well, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. Isaac Brown's a good running back, too, 8.6 yards per carry. I think there is a lot of potential with this Louisville team. We really haven't seen it. What I'm going to play here, like you said, Hurricanes were lucky, really lucky against Virginia Tech in the comeback, really lucky against Cal. They're playing with fire, and I think they're going to get burned on the road here. Big game, Jeff Brom. He's at his best in big games, pull out some trick plays. He's going to empty the playbook. This is Louisville's biggest game, and I think the Cards are going to show up and play their A game, or at least their B-plus game here. I'm taking the 5. I like the home dog at this spot, and I think the Hurricanes. The week off is not always a good thing. Sometimes a week off can stagnate a team or come out a little bit stale. And that's why I don't always say, well, after a bye week, I'm going to bet on this team. Sometimes I think bye weeks be a negative. Hopefully that's the case here with Miami. But, again, I like home dogs in big games like this, and definitely going to go with the Cards and the 5. I was hoping to get 7. I thought with the way Louisville was playing, maybe this number would come out 7, but not fortunate enough.
Third Saturday in October, Bama in Tennessee, and they'll be fired up for this one in Knoxville. Bama, this was up 2.5. It's up to 3 now, and boy, Tennessee, we just overvalued them a little bit with that NC State win. NC State is really, really bad this year. And Nico has yet to throw for 200 yards in an SEC game. He's 0 for 3 there. In the NC State game, he barely threw over for 200, but threw 2 picks in there. 2 athletic quarterbacks. One is 1 year more developed. Imagine Milroe this time last year. But Bama's explosive but inconsistent on offense and suspect on defense. Fortunate to get out of that one with a win against South Carolina. You like the road team here, Matt? Bama -3.
Yeah, I watched a couple nights ago. I watched the tape because I didn't get to see the game much live, but I watched South Carolina Alabama tape. But South Carolina defense is pretty good and better than I thought it was. Now, Bama was really, really sloppy. Jalen Milroe was not very good in that game last week, but I think that could be a positive here because they get a lot of Kalen DeBoer and that coaching staff's going to work all week to try to get that stuff cleaned up. And sometimes a bad performance like that would be a buy sign on a team. So hopefully Alabama comes out and cleans things up this week. But again, I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. I think it was before the Tennessee-Arkansas game, and the host says, no way you want to bet against this Tennessee team. This Tennessee team's a wagon. And I said, I don't know about that. I think this Tennessee team's being way overhyped. I wasn't that impressed with what I saw from the Vols in the game against Oklahoma. And when you got that cupcake early schedule with teams like Chattanooga and Kent State, what do you really know about a team? And that's a lot of times that'll give you value in the betting market on a team that's putting up huge numbers playing weak competition, and everybody's impressed. You got to try to look through the hype and see value in numbers. And I just didn't see it with this Tennessee team. Oklahoma's quarterback, Jackson Arnold, imploded in that game with 3 bad turnovers. That's the only reason Tennessee won it by 10 on the road. Nico has, 160 yards passing on average in the last 2 games, really struggling. He's got some accuracy issues, too, some wild throws, missing open receivers. Gators, poorly coached Gators team went in there to Knoxville last week and outgained Tennessee 360 to 312. And that's a game Florida should have won. Just absolutely blew the game. Tennessee, very lucky to get it. I think the Tide kind of gets their act together this week on the road. And I bet this early in the week at 2.5, but I'll call it -3 because that's what it's painted across the board right now. I think Bama's going to get this win.
All right, Bama +3 there, yeah. On Mertz's third quarter touchdown pass, that's where he tore his ACL and was out for the year. That's 7 minutes and change to go in the third quarter. Tennessee had 0 at that point, and this is as bad of a defensive roster as Florida's had in a long time. Lagway came in. He did throw the game-tying touchdown, but he did throw a pick to give Tennessee the ball at the 20 for a short field for one of their second-half touchdowns. And would you think Sunbelt Billy scored with 20 seconds to go, 25, 20, 30 seconds, you think he'd go for 2?
On the road, for sure.
The dog on the road, huh?
Yeah. What do you say? You go for it when you think you are outgunned and you kick the point when you think you got the better team? Maybe he thought that they, at that point, were better.
Oh, okay. That's why he's good.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just trying to think along with him.
All right, let's go out to Air Force in Colorado State. Colorado State 3-3, 7 on the road here against Air Force in Colorado Springs.
I'll tell you what, trying to think along with Sunbelt Billy is a dangerous thing to do. I don't think you want to do that, and it's be hard to get in the mind of that guy, but I would have gone for 2.
Occupational hazard there, humans.
But humans, we're trained. We used to get in the mind of Les Miles, so we're trained.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Years of therapy.
This is one of the worst Air Force teams you've seen in a while. But the Falcons have improved offensively. They rushed for 325 yards against New Mexico a week ago. They got a couple of quarterbacks, Quentin Hayes and Josh Johnson, who can move the ball. But here's the deal. It's a big game for the Falcons because they've had such a bad year. They're trying to find a way to salvage the season, and they're going to get beat up by the other military academies, obviously. The Colorado State's a rival. The Rams are rolling in there with a weak coach, with a weak quarterback, with their top wide receiver, Torrey Horton, out for the season. So I think this is where you're going to see the Falcons' best effort, and I like them here as early in the week it was 7.5. Right now, Air Force +7. Another home dog I like. This is under the radar game that not many people are going to want to bet. And not many want to bet Air Force as bad as that team's look, but I think this is a good spot for the Falcons.
All right, 13-2 the last couple of weeks. So let's keep it hot in college. In the pros, you're looking at a rematch of the Super Bowl from last year. Kansas City undefeated, going to San Francisco.
Yeah, hopefully get one here with the 49ers. NFL's been choppy, man. I had the Jets on Monday night, had them straight up, and I had them on a teaser. And I tell you, with the National Flag Football League's getting tough to watch with all these penalties, and they're big, a lot of big penalties too that swing the game. Jets were going up 27-20 in that game, touchdown run up from the 1 yard line, and there's a flag thrown, holding call, pushing back to 11, third and goal from the 11, and everything went downhill. It's been tough to handicap the NFL and get on the right side of the lucky breaks and the officiating in those games. Hopefully the officiating goes the 49ers' way because most Kansas City games goes the Chiefs' way. So we'll see. But I like the 49ers here. I think they've spread the field with a lot more weapons than the Chiefs can. And I know the KC defense has been a lot better against the run recently. But against the pass, there's a lot of holes in that secondary. Kansas City ranks, I think, 20th in the NFL in pass defense in terms of yards allowed. So you look at all the weapons that the 49ers can put out there, I think Brock Purdy's going to have a big game. Chiefs are not putting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks either. So I think this sets up well for the San Francisco offense. In terms of the KCO, Patrick Mahomes, nobody's really talking about it, but he's not playing well. He's committing a lot of turnover-worthy plays. His air yards per attempt are way down, I think the lowest of his career. Aside from the deep ball he hit to Xavier Worthy in the Chargers game 2 weeks ago, it's all short stuff. And, there's no Hollywood Brown, no Rashee Rice. Isaiah Pacheco's out. Travis Kelce's not as effective as he used to be. There's a lot of flaws in this Chiefs team. Very lucky to be 5-0. In fact, the officials are probably the main reason the Chiefs have 2 of those wins. So I think the 49ers need a little payback here, too. They got blown out by the Chiefs in San Francisco, the game after they acquired Christian McCaffrey. They choked away the Super Bowl. That was a game they should have won here in Vegas. I think the 49ers get it right this time. And also, it's kind of just reading the number. When I saw the 49ers open -1, I said, I'm definitely playing him. I had him circled anyway, but I'm playing because Oddsmaker is making the 49ers a favorite for a reason. There are a lot of people who are going to look at this game and say, Andy Reid off of buys, 21-4. Patrick Mahomes, 11-1. ATS is a dog. I'm taking the Chiefs as the dog. I'm not taking the Chiefs here. I think the 49ers are going to be the right side.
All right, Matt. College football weekend, but you got a chance to go out to Summerlin to see the Shriners Colucci Open?
Absolutely not. Did not get any tickets from Dwayne Colucci. I've got too much stuff going on with work. And, I do have a few bets on that tournament. And it starts this morning, and the wind's supposed to pick up.
Yes.
And, it's been over 90, well over 100 here in Vegas for about 6 months. And there's some bad weather that's supposed to blow in here this afternoon that might affect this tournament. Taylor Montgomery, 300-1. Was my long shot this week, and played a couple shorter shots like Seamus Power, 30-1, and Adam Hadwin, the Canadian, at 40-1. There's no way Dwayne Colucci's going out to that golf tournament, right? I think his girl's in town. He's probably going to be tied up this weekend.
There you go. Good luck, Matt. Stay hot, brother.
Okay,
We'll talk to you next
thanks.
week. Good job. We appreciate it. Don't forget our friends at Workbox and WorkboxLLC.com. Our friends at the Patiols. They sold a division of Workbox, so they don't do the portalettes or don't do the dumpsters anymore. But listen, the Patiols and Workbox are still rolling. What they're doing, a lot of the shipping containers, the movable storage needs, commercial and or residential. Custom storage containers. Most places have them in just one standard size. Not at Workbox. We do 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or 8x40 feet. So any size that you're looking for. So, and we can customize these storage containers for any type of function. A lunchroom. You need a lunchroom on site. We can customize that. Your plumbers or welders need a work site, with all their tools in a work area. We can do that. Safety storage near the plant so that you meet all of the safety requirements before you enter the plant. Customized part office or part storage. That's right, dual purpose customized storage containers. So, and we could do it with climate control or not, shelving, lighting, wooden or metal materials, whatever you need, whatever you prefer. The customized portable shipping containers, storage containers from Workbox. Workbox services 343-4886, 343-4886.
Live at the original Walk-Ons. Live at lunch, 104.5.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Arkansas quarterback Taylon Green expected to play Saturday against LSU was not listed on Wednesday's SEC availability report. Sam Pittman said, encouraged by how he's practiced. He's not full speed yet, but we certainly think there's a possibility that he can get there. We have 2 more practices plus a walkthrough, and I've been encouraged by his progression this week. Jimmy, we do this a lot. He's going to play. I feel the same way about him that I felt about Trey Harris last week. He's going to play. Will he be compromised? Harris was at least running fine at the beginning of the game. He dropped the ball. I don't think the injury had anything to do with that. Maybe. And then he was by the fourth quarter. He was in street clothes. I don't know how Green feels, but I know he's going to give it a go.
Couldn't argue with you, Charlie. He's going to play. He's probably not 100%, but how much does that affect his play? That depends on LSU. You're going to have that type of defensive intensity. Are they going to harass Green as much as they did Dart? We'll see. Were they energized? Yeah. Were they energized by a crowd and in an emotional game? Going to have that much less emotion, on Saturday night when they go to Arkansas.
This is a quarterback that is very much dependent on his mobility, not just to run, but to buy himself time to pass. I would venture to say 30% or more of his completions have come from outside the pocket, and I may be low on that number. So if this knee is giving him trouble, it'll be trouble all the way around for him. But if he is forced to just drop back in the pocket and throw, then that takes away his whole game.
He's got
that
not his
takes away
whole
most of
game.
his game.
He's gotten better, and give credit to Petrino, and despite being a turd of a human, I mean he's a good offensive coach, and he puts his quarterbacks in favorable positions. By far the toughest defense they faced. Look, they rolled up all kinds of yards against Oklahoma State. All right, Oklahoma State's defense is not good, and they're one of the biggest disappointments. You wonder if Gundy was kind of trying to provide some information when he was telling them we're tired of talking about this NIL. If he was trying to let you know that there may be some trouble in that locker room or within that organization, but Charlotte, 440 yards against Tennessee is impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Now Tennessee has not played some great offenses, but man, you go in that game. I mean, that's a lot of yards. So he has developed. Petrino, and they always talk about Petrino's coming in. He's they're warming his seat. Pittman struggles. They move Petrino in. Petrino, you don't want, as a leader of men, you don't want him representing your program and being the front guy, okay? You want him coaching offenses. Well, they have Pittman's way more respectable, ethical, classy, organized, CEO of your program than Petrino ever be. And that's where their role is right now. But you got to give him a lot of credit with Green, man. I mean, he looked really, really good against Tennessee. And keep in mind, they overcame a lot of missed chances and still beat Tennessee.
I agree. That Petrino has worked with him, that he is way, way, way better. And that game against Tennessee, he completed 70% of his passes. He was 19 to 27. All I'm saying is whenever he is in the pocket, I worry less. When he gets on the move, that's when he scares the hell out of you.
He's an athlete first.
Yeah.
He's an athlete first. He has come a long way. He's like Milroe last year.
And he can throw on the run. He's a very good.
But he has made some throws from the pocket. He's way more prepared to be reduced to mostly a pocket passer than he was earlier in the year. I think it's very similar to Milroe last year. And think about Milroe, maybe about 75% of as a runner 7 games in, as opposed to 2 games in last year.
Yeah, he probably. Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think that's right. He may not throw quite as good of a deep ball as Milroe, but it's
no,
close.
He doesn't. But he throws better underneath.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southland Louisiana for over 50 years, including our newest location at Burbank and Bluebonnet. Great team of bankers over at United Community Bank. Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at the original Walk-Ons Live at Lunch. Patient as far as want.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, the new LouisianaSports.net. New Handicast up with complete film study from LSU and Ole Miss right now, available on YouTube.
Longtime Las Vegas odds maker Kenny White, and now a veteran handicapper with us each and every week at this time. And Kenny, before we get to your top 3 picks in college and also in the NFL, you got a special discount for your VIP club on your services that are available to our friends here in Louisiana.
Yeah, Jimmy, I've had such a great response from your listeners that I thought, they've signed up for the power ratings, but I don't know if they understand what the VIP club is, and I can explain it to you. And again, in this industry, I feel like I'm one of the most honest or the most honest person in the industry, where when you do sign up and people are gun shy because they're afraid you're going to get a phone call for someone trying to upsell you for $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 because they've got the lock of the year. That doesn't happen in my company. I've got the power ratings, I've got a VIP club, and I got a VIP gold, but the gold club, you get Steam plays on the weekend when we make FCS bets. So you get notified, hey, we're going to make a bet on this game. get ready, and we'll send it to you, and then hit it the same time we do, and you get to move the market at your book. But that's the Gold Club. The VIP Club is I have handicappers or sports bettors, I should say, in the club. Mark Lawrence, Micah Roberts, Greg Sidoris, a gentleman named Ken Murphy, and many others, and they put plays in that club each week. There's about 50 plays per week. It's $150 a month. These guys are all paid by me by how many winners they pick. They don't get paid if they don't pick winners, so they put all of their best picks in the club. So I'm going to give your listeners $50 off the first month. All they have to do is use the coupon code Louisiana, sign up for the VIP Club for 1 month, or you want to do 4 months or a year, that's great. But you can get all those plays. It is on a messaging app named Telegram. You'll sign up for that. We'll invite you into the... I have handicappers or sports bettors, I should say, in the club. Mark Lawrence, Micah Roberts, Greg Sidoris, a gentleman named Ken Murphy, and many others. And they put plays in that club each week. There's about 50 plays per week. It's $150 a month. These guys are all paid by me by how many winners they pick. They don't get paid if they don't pick winners, so they put all of their best picks in the club. So I'm going to give your listeners $50 off the first month. All they have to do is use the coupon code Louisiana, sign up for the VIP Club for 1 month, or you want to do 4 months or a year, that's great. But you can get all those plays. It is on a messaging app named Telegram. You'll sign up for that. We'll invite you into the VIP Club Telegram chat. And when guys put plays in the club, you get notified, hey, someone just put a play in the club. And it's been very, very good. Over the last 5 weeks, we are over 40 units to the good.
All right, let's get to the picks this week. And, yeah, that's at KennyWhiteSports.com, KennyWhiteSports.com. The discount code is Louisiana. Let's go to the Big 12. And the two games that you're looking at this week are two games involving the preseason favorites in the Big 12, and it kind of hasn't worked out that way. But Oklahoma State, one of the bigger disappointments in all of college football. You got them. You're looking at them this week in their game at Provo against BYU. We're looking at 9.5 the spread, Kenny.
Yeah, Jimmy, when I bet sports, I do it as a stock market, basically, and I talk a lot about buying low and selling high. I'm buying on Oklahoma State here because I'm buying low. I don't know what the number was. I don't have it in front of me, but the look-ahead games of the year, Oklahoma State was probably the favorite in this game. They've lost 3 straight now. They lost to Utah by 3 at home. They got blown out at Kansas State. They lost the turnover battle, and then last week again, -2 in the turnover battle to West Virginia. Mike Gundy's been there 19 years, and he's been to 19 bowl games. He has one of the longest streaks in the country, and this is a well-coached football team. Ollie Gordon, their fullback, running back, he's a fullback size, has just not gotten it going yet this year. I think this could be a spot where they get him going, and Alan Bowman, that'll open up the field for him. This is still a very deep, talented, experienced team, and on a 3-game losing streak, they need a win. They played the 9th most difficult schedule in the entire country so far, so they're ready, and we don't even need to win the game. I think they could win the game. We don't need to win the game with our bet because we're getting 9.5. BYU is 6-0. That clinches a bowl bid for them. I know that they are looking at the bigger picture of winning the Big 12 and playing in the national championship. But teams do exhale when they win that 6th game, and they know Oklahoma State's lost 3 in a row. They may be looking past this team, and Oak State's going to be hungry.
All right, let's stay in the Big 12. Go to Salt Lake City, and boy, it was a little painful watching Cam Rising play in that Friday night game, that Friday night loss at Tempe against Arizona State. Here comes TCU to town after losing to Houston. They had 4 turnovers to 0 in that game. Sloppy for the Horned Frogs there. Utah at home in Salt Lake City, 3.5.
Yeah, you mentioned Cam Rising. Well, it did look painful, and we will not have to watch that again this year. We'll have to watch it again next year as an 8th-year senior because he'll probably be back. But Isaac Wilson, Zach's brother, had filled in rather nicely for him and played very, very well. I knew once Rising came back after that finger surgery, he may not be 100%. He wasn't, and then he gets the leg injury, and he's out for the year now. But Isaac Wilson has experience in the offense, and it's a team, again, I'm buying low on. You mentioned a lot of people thought Utah would play Oklahoma State for maybe the Big 12 championship this year. Again, I bet Oklahoma State because it's a well-coached team in Mike Gundy. Kyle Whittingham is one of the top coaches in the entire country. He's been at his program for 19 years, 162 wins, and all he does is cover spreads, 130 and 104 coming into the season. They're off back-to-back losses to Arizona and Arizona State now. Tough to swallow for him. He will have his team vastly prepared. It's Sonny Dykes' team. They played for the national championship, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 2 years ago. Last year they stumbled. This year, right now, 3-3 is 1-5 ATS on the year. I don't think this team's very good. I think Utah is a better football team playing at home, even with the freshman quarterback starting. I made that adjustment, but I think Utah wins this game by 10 or more.
Just a little clarity on Utah's part. I mean, this is a year and a half gone now for game time decision with Cam Rising.
I was so surprised they kept him in that game. He could not plant off that right leg at all. He was all over the place through 3 interceptions. But even the incompletions were bad incompletions. They weren't close. They were bad.
Yeah, he was. It was at least the injury was legitimate. That's for sure. The injury report. Let's go to the big one in Austin and Georgia and Texas. So. Georgia, we know that their running game and their defense is not as good. The passing game, they call it more passing plays because that's where they are. Kirby has done it where he controlled the ball and turned it over his defense and was very patient with his offense. Not this year. Beck's putting up a lot of attempts and a lot of yards. In Texas, we think they're good. They can't look any better, but who in the heck have they played? Probably nobody is going to finish in the top 25. You're looking at the total, it's 56, Kenny.
That's very true about Texas, that the schedule they played has been a very easy one. Michigan's a good football team, and they did beat them up pretty good. But I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be back and forth. You got two great quarterbacks that both are Heisman Trophy-worthy guys in Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck. So the Georgia offense is the real deal. They've shown it this year. They had a bad game at Kentucky 3 weeks ago, but they come back against Alabama. They put up 34. 31 against Auburn and 41 against Mississippi State last week, just for fun. The defense has let them down, and this is not the great defense that we've seen from Georgia in the past. So two high-flying offenses, two very good defenses, but I think this is going to be a scoring game. We've seen scoring go up this year in college football. It used to be, I think 3 years ago, it was 58. It dropped to 56. Last year it was 52. This year it's up over 55 points per game. So that's an average total we're looking at right now with two great quarterbacks.
All right, Kenny, your NFL game this year. Let's go to the NFC East and look at the Eagles going to play the Giants here. So Sirianni, and it's a homecoming for Saquon Barkley as well. Eagles are struggling to barely win against Cleveland, but the Giants, they just lose and fail to cover again on Sunday night. Eagles -3 on the road at New York.
Yeah, being a division game, I think we get our best effort out of the Eagles. And I'm not one to lay points, but boy, if you bet every 3-point favorite in the NFL this year, 3 points or greater, you're 14-2-3. 14-2, these road favorites have done. Home field is not as much as it used to be worth. These are professional football players. They're not intimidated by the crowd. The officials aren't intimidated. So the home teams aren't getting as many penalty calls their way that we've seen in the past. So that's a big part of home field. So Philadelphia, they're getting on a bus and taking it to East Rutherford to play this game against the Giants. So it could be basically a home game for the Eagles. They will have as many fans in the stands as the Giants. Getting back Brown and Devonta Smith last week was big for them. One more week of practice. Those guys should be sharp. The Eagles have one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. I do have a question mark on their defense. However, it's still better than what the Giants have been able to roll out. So I think it's a huge mismatch when you just look at the quarterback situation, Jalen Hurts versus Daniel Jones, and it's a major coaching mismatch, Nick Sirianni against Brian Dable.
Kenny, what do you make of, this season in the NFL? It's been a lot of, it's been house-friendly, let's just say that, especially with so many underdogs winning outright, big underdogs, busting up money line parlays that are much more popular than they used to be. And then it was all chalk, or well, let's just say all public, because even an underdog was very public in the Colts at the Titans, and they won as well. So they're not going to shut down the shops in Las Vegas. Don't worry about that. But just reaction on it being so public last week.
Yeah, you're right. The books kind of knew that was coming, as they had such a great September that they figured there had to be a week that the favorites were going to cover, and it was last week in the NFL. So this sport goes back and forth so much, and when you chop it out over at the end of the season, though, you're going to have 48% favorites, 51% dogs, and 1% of those games will tie. And that's always why I talk about betting underdogs. You have a 3-point edge. And this is over 40 years, Jimmy. I've been keeping records for that long, and it's 48% favorites cover. So you're behind the eight ball if you're betting a favorite in the NFL. And in all sports. But I'll tell you what, I do like the dog tonight. I just want to throw that out there. I think Spencer Rattler gets his first W in the NFL as the starting quarterback tonight for the Saints. Big difference in offenses. Tampa Bay's offense I've got ranked in the top 10. Denver I've got number 23. So this is going to be a much closer game. It was competitive last week to the first half, but second half it was all Tampa. We know Sean Payton's going to be fired up, but everybody that's on the Saints that played for Sean Payton will also be fired up for this game tonight. So I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I bet the Saints +3, a little extra for you.
All right, KennyWhiteSports.com. Again, $50 off discount he's giving to our listeners right now for his VIP club. Special code to discount is Louisiana. Kenny, we appreciate that. Good luck to you this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Jimmy. Have a great week. Thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Our friend Kenny White from Las Vegas. Total Maintenance. We are one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest air conditioner and heating companies. Founded in 1980, our team of over 50 employees with 30 working together for a decade or more offer elite service for our AC and heat. One of the things we do over here at Total Maintenance, the membership programs that cover all of the services that we offer with discounts and extended warranties. And we'll let you know when it's time for that inspection check. We keep them. You got way more things to worry about and keep track of than when it's time to get your AC unit checked for heating and air. We also offer 2-year warranties on parts installed by us and additional year membership clients for 3 years. Financing is available as well. And mention Jimmy Ott, half off of diagnostics, including after hours, holidays, and weekends. We are Total Maintenance in Baton Rouge, 480-1000, 480-1000, Total Maintenance.
Live at the original Walk-Ons Live at Lunch.
BSP 5104. Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Arizona State starting quarterback Sam Levitt officially ruled out of their game at Cincinnati. That was going to be a tough spot for the Sun Devils anyway. Jeff Sims, who started both Nebraska and Georgia Tech, is now there. He'll get the start for Arizona State. NCAA closed the loophole on the 12 men on the field penalty. Boy, they move fast when they want to, huh?
No kidding.
They've been dragging their feet on this injured, fake injury thing for years, and they got this done in less than a week. You can now, if you have 12 players actively participate in the down, the offense can choose, along with the 5-yard penalty, to have the game clock reset.
You can't. It's hard for the officials to do the fake injury thing.
Yeah, I don't want the officials dealing with it. I want the league dealing with it.
You can clearly see it's not in the spirit of what you're trying to do when you evaluate it, and you got to punish the coach or the program after that. So which they're not doing to this point.
Yeah. Saints 2.5-point underdog tonight to Denver. They opened up as a favorite, but with all the injuries, this line has moved to Denver -2.5 tonight.
I like Denver.
Me too.
Minus the points. It's a tough assignment for Spencer Rattler. The Saints play 2 receivers more than most because it's such a big a drop off to their next receivers. Well, now they're out, and so that's tough. No offensive line the whole bit, but Going to be tough tonight, but a low scoring, though. I do expect a much more prideful effort, a bounce back from the defense.
All right, tomorrow we're at Rufino's. We start at 10 o'clock. Stay tuned. Thanks to the folks here at Walk On. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Thibodeau Store, your shop for home improvements. Whether you're working with a contractor or you're doing it yourself, get your supplies from the Thibodeau Store. Plumbing supplies, electrical supplies, power tools, hand tools, pretty much anything you need. If you're pouring some concrete, if you're doing some painting, they'll be able to help you out. Now, if you're working with a contractor, if you've got a big job, you get all your supplies through the Thibodeau Store. You go to ThibodeauStore.com and have the deliveries done. You make your orders off the website. But if you're doing it yourself, talk to one of their professionals. Let them walk you through, whether you're putting in some lights, pouring a little concrete, you're just doing some cabinet work, whatever it is, they can walk you through step by step. Trust me, it's going to be a lot more informative than a YouTube video. You're going to save time and you're going to save money.